wishing his adversaries well, taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt.
And all of this fits in with the theme that was woven throughout the speech, that it's America's 250th birthday.
President Trump calling for passing of voter ID legislation during his State of the Union address last night. The president urging lawmakers to enact the Save America Act, a bill that he called common sense and country-saving legislation. The bill would require a photo ID to vote and proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. But Democrats, of course, have panned the measure, calling it a tool of voter suppression. Attorney General Pam Bondi reacts.
You should have an ID to vote in an American election, and if you're an illegal alien, you're not going to vote in our elections. And that's what the Democrats boo. That should frighten everyone.
Team USA men's hockey paying tribute to the late Johnny Gaudreau following their gold medal win over Canada in the Winter Olympics on Sunday. Players on the team could be seen holding their late teammate's jersey while skating around the ice and welcomed his children to be part of the post-game celebration. Gaudreau's wife, Meredith, says this meant the world to her, and she's very grateful for the love and respect the team still gives her late husband.
It's all I can ask for right now. I think John would be very flattered, very humbled. And it's just really, really heartwarming that they show him that much respect.
President Trump doubling down in his State of the Union speech that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons as part of any deal with the U.S. This as both sides are set to resume nuclear talks tomorrow. Trey Yingst has the latest from Tel Aviv, Israel.
Overnight, at least a dozen U.S. F-22 fighter jets landed here in Israel as part of the ongoing military buildup across the region. And while the U.S. prepares for war, President Trump in his State of the Union address once again reiterated his preference for peace.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
With nuclear talks set to resume tomorrow in Geneva, Switzerland, Iran's foreign minister put out a statement overnight saying in part, quote, "Our fundamental convictions are crystal clear. Iran will under no circumstances ever develop a nuclear weapon. Neither will we Iranians ever forgo our right to harness the dividends of peaceful nuclear technology for our people."
And finally, Kansas is invalidating about 1,700 driver's licenses held by so-called transgender residents, and also requiring people in government buildings to use bathrooms for the gender they were born with.
Kansas Family Voice pushed for the legislation. Governor Laura Kelly vetoed the measure, but a supermajority of Kansas lawmakers overrode the veto last week. Brittany Jones of Kansas Family Voice was glad to see it.
Biological reality matters on government documents and in bathrooms in government buildings. We are no longer going to play into the madness of the gender ideology. In Kansas, we are going to recognize biological reality.
Jones credits the many people that called lawmakers about the legislation.
So we are so excited at Kansas Family Voice for this bill to become a law in Kansas and for women's privacy to be respected.
Lawsuits are expected, but Jones says lawsuits do not scare anyone, adding Attorney General Chris Kobach has defended similar laws in court.
We believe that common sense, reality, and the truth about biology will win.
I'm Chris Woodward.
There's more online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty Pugh.
The loss of a child through abortion, miscarriage, or stillbirth affects the emotional health of families. Feelings of anger, sadness, and regret can be overwhelming. There is hope and healing in the aftermath of a reproductive loss. Call the International Helpline at 866-482-LIFE to talk with someone who has been where you are and healed to help others. Your call is confidential. 866-482-LIFE.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Okay. I think Trump's wrapping it up. Hold on. Yeah, I think he's wrapping it up. So it's a 13-hour State
of the Union.
Welcome, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today, in case you're wondering, or if you care, is Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. And thanks for listening to this show, Today's Issues, on the American Family Radio Network. And the panel here in the studio with me today is Wesley Wildmon. Good morning, Wesley.
Good morning.
Fred Jackson.
Good morning, Tim.
And Chris Woodward.
Good morning.
A lot to talk about, as you would expect, having to do with President Trump's speech last night to the country and to the world, quite frankly. The President's annual State of the Union address. Wesley and I were in Oklahoma last night, met some wonderful folks, had a chance to be there. We got back. Yes, we flew there and flew back, and boy, our arms tired. But boom. So we were able to get out there and get back, but we were in Oklahoma and met with some wonderful folks, and it's good to be back home. A lot to talk about. A lot happened last night. I didn't get to see all the speech because I was at an event. But Wesley, but I did watch some of it.
I watched about the first half hour, then I fell asleep.
Okay. How long did it last, Fred?
It was 1 hour and 50 minutes.
So I missed quite a bit.
And
But you said it wasn't boring. I mean, it wasn't. It didn't feel like an hour 50 minutes.
All right. I've watched about 29 of these over the years. The 29 years I've been here.
Okay.
My intent last night, because my wake-up time in the morning is about 3 o'clock, my intent last night was to catch the first half hour or so and then go to... But I stayed and watched the whole thing.
Wow.
Because in my estimation, my humble estimation, it was the best State of the Union address I have ever seen.
Wow.
You're saying a lot. I mean, you've seen a lot of them.
I've seen a lot of them, but here's what kept my attention. It wasn't what I would call the political rhetoric.
Okay.
It was the honoring of so many military personnel and heroes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And very quickly it started with the U.S. men's Olympic team that they streamed onto the upper corridors in the chamber there. That was a great moment. But then throughout the night, the president told the story of these heroes. Many of them received medals. And it was just, I don't know how anyone in that chamber, and we'll talk about sometimes when people in that chamber did not stand, but I don't know how anyone hearing the stories of these brave men, women, families of heroes, how you could not get excited and be proud of your country. I don't know how you could just sit on your hands and say, no, I'm not going to do it because it's President Trump describing what these wonderful people did.
The sacrifices they made. The one that I heard in the first half hour, I didn't fall asleep because it was boring. I fell asleep because I was rewatching it close to midnight last night.
Okay.
But the first half hour, they recognized the not National Guard, the Coast Guard that helped out with the flooding in Texas, rescue over 100. I should have the hard number because that matters. He rescued over 100 people, mostly kids, from the...
Oh, when the rivers flooded out there, and those children died at the Christian camp?
The Christian camp, that's
right.
Yes,
164 girls at Camp Mystic.
He rescued them.
Were rescued or drowned?
No, he rescued them.
Oh, he rescued them. This was one Coast Guard?
It was a compelling story. And President Trump told this story, how this little girl who was caught in the midst of this flood prayed, God, please somebody rescue us.
Yeah.
Okay, what we're going to do, folks, today, for the most part this hour, we're going to play some of the clip from President Trump's speech last night, which, as Fred said, was excellent in his estimation. And whoever the speechwriter was, of course, President Trump delivered it, and he deserves credit too. But whoever the speechwriter was, and he has great speechwriters.
Yes.
I don't know who all they are, but they need to be recognized at some point. But and maybe they are, and I just don't know it. But they created this State of the Union message, which, as you say, focused on the greatness of some of our heroes,
right,
and the spirit of America.
Yes.
And so
we got a clip.
Okay,
we do.
So what are we about to hear, Chris?
Yeah, well, first of all, this is about 2 minutes worth of audio, but it's a montage of the various.
Is it a montage?
It is a montage of various medal awards, including the Coast Guard swimmer. So let's begin there, and then I'll go into the hockey stuff, which is a much shorter clip.
Okay.
But here is a montage of the various moments where he recognized people for their heroism. Clip 4.
As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death. Now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor. Navy fighter pilot Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. At 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor.
Wow.
I had to cut that down.
That was a montage, Chris. That was a montage, and this was just he just went. How long did he do those stories, Fred?
He just brought them in throughout the speech.
Okay.
And it started.
Now, are you telling me the Democrats sat on their hands for these, or not all these, or was it a mixed response?
It was a mixed response with regards to the awarding of these medals. I think most Democrats may have stood, but I noticed some did not. But there was another point in the president's speech where they did not stand, and he called them out. The president did.
We have this as well.
That's one we got to get to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's not like him, though.
Calling someone out publicly.
Calling somebody out publicly is just not.
Donald the Kind.
So, all right. So, because I want people to know, we would encourage folks to just go, if you didn't see it, just go watch the whole speech sometime today. But we're having to cut it up into sound bites here because of our otherwise we might play the whole thing because it was excellent. The part, again, I haven't seen it wall to wall, but the parts I've seen, and we do commend the content and the speech writers. Now, by the way, the hockey team, the U.S. hockey team, two things. I was just watching. They're at the White House this morning.
Yep, and
they're in the Oval Office with.
They were there yesterday afternoon.
Oh, they were? Okay, I'm sorry. I was watching video footage. I thought it was from this morning. So they were at the White House yesterday afternoon.
Yep.
The U.S. Gold medal winning Olympic hockey team. And they were at the Capitol last night for the State of the Union.
That's right. And Trump also mentioned right before he recognized the men's hockey team, U.S. hockey team, he did mention that the women's hockey team have accepted to come by the White House at a scheduled event.
Right.
Okay.
So
Great.
That's an update from yesterday when we were unsure.
Yeah.
But Fred, before we get to the next, are you going to play a montage? Or you just
No,
gonna play a
I
clip?
have much shorter clips going forward.
No more montages?
Yes, no more montages.
Okay.
No.
Spell montages, Chris. Can you?
Montages, I can. Montages. I was in the 6th grade Monroe County spelling bee here in the great state of Mississippi.
Well, there you go. I didn't know you were wielding those.
Let's give him a medal.
That's right. Give him a medal.
Did you win the spelling bee in 6th grade?
I did not, and I've only been holding on to that for 30 years.
If you don't win, you cannot.
Do you remember who won it?
I do. It was a girl named Angela, and I think she won on broccoli. which
broccoli was the word you stumbled on? Or
no,
she won on?
I went out on roommate.
Well, listen, I got to give you credit for even making the finals.
That's right.
Especially against who?
It was a lot of people. In,
you got a
Monroe
shirt
County.
for that, didn't you? I mean,
no,
anyway.
I didn't.
No
I just
shirt.
got the painful memories of spelling roommate wrong. But to this day, I remember it's two
Okay.
M's.
But you got montage right there, and I put you on the spot.
Yes.
yeah.
Fred, you were recounting in our show prep meeting this morning the gentleman who President Trump spoke of. He told the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
We only had time for a clip that flew the helicopter into Caracas. Do you know the story I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you recount that just a little bit? You know, you said he got shot in the leg and. That
Yes.
kind of thing.
He is Chief Warrant Officer Eric Slover.
We're talking about, folks, when the U.S. went in and captured Maduro. That's
Yes.
what we're talking about in Venezuela.
Yes. He was the pilot who flew this Chinook. If you're not familiar with various helicopters that we fly in this country, Chinook is a beast. It's a big helicopter.
Right.
It has two rotors.
Right.
All right. Carries troops.
Okay.
So they go in to where they believe Maduro is.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a lot of protection around Maduro.
Okay.
They're flying in to drop off these military personnel, and Eric Slover is the pilot. They start shooting at the helicopter. They hit his leg about 3 or 4 times.
So the bullets come through the helicopter's body and hit the pilot?
Yes, because that cockpit is right up front. They're shooting at the cockpit.
Wow.
And it's coming in at the lower part of the helicopter, so it hits his legs.
Okay.
I don't want to get too vivid here.
Right.
But President Trump did in his speech last night. He did
How many shots hit him?
3 to 4 shots.
Oh my goodness.
He was bleeding so badly that President Trump said this last night, that the blood from the wound was flowing back through the floor of the helicopter to the back of the helicopter. That's an image. It's important to this story.
Right.
Because this is a man flying the helicopter. He keeps flying it. He keeps flying it. And at some point, he and his co-pilot maneuver that big Chinook helicopter. They turn it around 180 degrees so that the military personnel at the back of the helicopter, now they're facing the bad guys.
Okay.
And they open fire on the bad guys and take them out.
Okay.
But Slover last night, still recovering from his injuries, he was brought into the balcony area. He obviously had a walker that he was holding on to. His dear wife was next to him, and he was awarded a special medal. It went beyond, as the president said, Slover is still suffering from his wounds from the operation and praised his actions above and beyond his duty. No kidding.
Now, was he the Purple Heart, or was it?
Oh, that was a different guy.
No, different guy.
Okay, but wow, what a story! I had not heard that. Had you heard that?
I had not heard it until last night.
What do you think about that, Wesley? Did you get to see?
I didn't get to see that part, but it goes back to the montage of where President Trump sprinkled in throughout his speech, recognizing our Christian or our
heroes
for our military,
the bravery,
the heroism, and that and the patriotism. I mean that. Like I said, that's what was the glue for the parts that I saw. That was the glue to what he was doing. That kept it from look at me.
Right.
Which I mean, as a president, State of the Union, you're going to do the whole look what I've accomplished.
Right, sure.
But that right there was an unexpected breath of fresh air for a State of the Union.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
all right, you're listening to Today's Issues. That's the name of this show on the American Family Radio Network. As always, we thank you for listening to AFR. If you want to watch the show, you can do so. We video on Facebook and YouTube. Our own video channel, stream.afa.net. That's STREAM. Stream.afa.net. Huh? Stream.afa.net.
N-E-T.
Yeah.
No.
I know how to spell that. Thank you, though. Appreciate you breaking it down for me.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chris, Fred, Wesley, and Tim here, we
On to the
We
next.
don't have any guests today because this is so good. We want to play you some of the clips. Now, are we about to get into the hockey thing?
Let's do the hockey before I get into the rips Democrats.
So President Trump invited the two hockey teams, the gold-winning hockey teams, the men's and women's. The women's didn't come. Now, the invitation was extended late, okay? So they may have already, a lot of them individually may have had plans. I'm talking about the women's hockey team. So I don't think it necessarily should be taken as a snub on the invitation.
No, yeah, especially following the fact that they said we're coming to the White House.
Yes.
And they've scheduled
Some people
that.
have said, well, this was a snub.
It felt like that.
It's felt like that, but they've said, the women's team, they will be going to the White House. Those who want to.
Yeah.
They've accepted the invitation. Yeah. But the men's team accepted the invitation not only to visit the White House, but also to be at the State of the Union last night and to be recognized by the president in front of the Congress, in front of the nation.
Yes.
So what happened there, Chris?
Well, and I can tell you this is a much shorter clip here. It's less than a minute. But President Trump, he announces the team. They come out to cheering and applause, and then he makes a big announcement for one of the players here. Clip 7.
Here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in. I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
All right, Fred, what do you think about that?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
and
Wesley.
the player he was talking about was the goalie for the U.S. team, Connor Hellebuck, who did just an outstanding job in that championship game. He did everything with his goalie pads and his gloves and his stick. The stick in particular, he was able to reach around and stop one shot, which could have given Canada the lead at a very critical point. But as I think I mentioned yesterday, Connor Hellebuck actually plays for the Winnipeg Jets. So he may be in the nets tonight in Winnipeg. Winnipeg is one of my favorite teams, and I'm going on record.
He's an American playing on a Canadian professional hockey team.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that back and forth.
All that.
Yeah.
And Connor better play as well for Winnipeg
as he did for the American team.
As he did for the American team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it was a wonderful moment. Wesley, what were you going to say about that?
Just added a funny part to that. Trump being Trump, he set up them coming through the doors and recognizing them by saying, "Hey, y'all voted for me to be a winner. We're winning. We're winning so much. I know y'all are getting tired of winning. Winning's exhausting, but we're going to keep winning." And then he said, speaking about winning, and then he said, "Our USA."
Yeah, I can hear his voice getting voice right. It was kind of like
it was,
like a lead up to a
yes.
Let's get ready to rumble.
The audio,
He was
the
getting
sound
ready.
it sounded overmodulated, but he was just yelling. He was like getting excited.
By the way, Connor was given that award. When the team visited the Oval Office yesterday, Trump said, "I had a vote. I had them vote on who should get this medal."
Okay.
And it had to be 100% for whatever player.
Okay.
And they voted 100% for Connor Hellebuck.
Yeah.
Wow,
to get the medal.
Well, I'm glad that happened, and President Trump was able to recognize those guys, and they were able to go to the White House to be a lifelong memory.
Do you know how they got to Washington from Miami? They flew into Miami.
Yeah, they couldn't fly back to New York City or Boston because of the blizzard.
Yes. So
from Italy. I'm talking about the hockey team.
Yeah, but President Trump sent Air Force Two down to
pick them up?
To pick them up in Miami. So they arrived in Washington
on Air Force Two?
On Air Force Two.
Wow.
That's a cool experience.
Cool story.
Okay, you're listening to today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. Now, there were more serious segments of what President Trump had to talk about last night. I'm thinking namely the economy.
Yeah.
and then the potential war with Iran.
Right. Yeah, Iran is certainly something we're all watching for. I mean, the newsroom is pretty much on standby.
I'm not watching for it because I don't want it.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, that all eyes are on that because our military buildup in that region of the world.
And, oddly enough, he didn't really even get into Iran until about the last 30 minutes of this address. But long story short, here's what he says about Iran and their nuclear ambitions. Clip 5.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
Okay, let me just say this before we get into that. This has been said by presidents, at least back to President Obama, maybe prior to him. They've said the same exact thing that President Trump is saying, and that is we will not allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon.
All right.
Because we can't, because these people are nuts. This is what, I don't know, he didn't say it like that. Their religious views, the Ayatollahs, not the general population of Iran, but the Ayatollahs, the religious leaders there, they have a apocalyptic view of the world, and they seem unafraid to use nuclear weapons to usher in what their religious views say is going to happen. Have I got that right, basically, Fred?
You are exactly right.
So, I know President Obama said exactly the same thing, and Biden did too. President Biden said the same thing. We can't allow, and I won't allow Iran. As best I remember, that's what he said. So Trump is only agreeing with Democrats, what Democrat presidents have said, at least over the last 15 to 20 years that I recall. So this is setting up for it's a showdown, okay? Because Iran, at least at this moment, seems unwilling to give up their plans to build a nuclear weapon. And President Trump is saying, we're not going to let you, and if you don't stop now, we're fixing to bomb you. Have I got this right, Fred?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And in the lead up to that clip we just played with regards to this, Trump did note that the United States went in and bombed them heavily with Israel's help back a couple of months ago. And he says the word is that they're rebuilding that establishment that was bombed.
That didn't take long.
No, it didn't. And this is a critical period because tomorrow there is another set of negotiations.
Okay.
Is
this the ones going on in Geneva?
Yes. And my guess is we're getting down to the point where Iran has to fish or cut bait on this.
Okay.
They've got to make a decision, or the United States is going to say it's off. We're going to respond.
All right, we're going to continue talking about this when we get back from the break. If you want to make something a matter of prayer today, I think this is an extremely serious situation that Christians need to pray for. I don't know what to pray for exactly, except you can pray for President Trump and his administration that they make the right decisions.
Yes.
Would you say that's a fair request for people to pray for? We'll be back momentarily with more of today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. Stay with us.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
Do you remember the parable of the three men who were given different amounts of talents? I want to bring it up to date just a little bit. Let's say that one man received $1,000, one man $2,000, and the other man $5,000. Now, let's look at them. What kind of person was the man who was given $1,000? He was the fellow who hid the sum in the ground, you recall. What kind of person was he? Well, he was the kind of person who would do nothing. It wasn't that he could not do anything, but that he would not. It wasn't a lack of resources that hindered him, but a selfish and negative attitude. He could have done lots of beneficial things with the amount he was given, but he did nothing. True, he wasn't given as much as the other two fellows, but he was given something. His problem was not that he wasn't given much, but that he refused to use what he'd been given. He failed to realize one of life's truest and most elementary principles, that what he had wasn't given to him to keep, but to use. Whatever talents, abilities, and wealth our Creator has given us, however small, have been given to us to use, not to keep to ourselves. This man was the type of person who never gives to a church, to the United Fund, or to any cause of common good. The members of his community could never count on his support in any worthwhile project. Why was it that he refused to use what he had been given? He answered that question. "I was afraid you would rob me of what I had earned," he said. You see, he was judging his master and other people by his own motives. That is what he personally would have done. He was afraid that someone else might benefit from his labors, and he wasn't for helping anyone else, even the one who helped him. Now, what kind of person was a man who was given $5,000? He represents that small number of people who have been given many talents and uses them wisely. Very few people can identify with him, but there are a few people who can do many things and excel in all of them. They are people of many talents, people who have been given much. Ever so often there comes along a Leonardo da Vinci, a person who can excel as an artist, a military engineer, scientist, and sculptor. He was a rare person, this $5,000 man, who could do many things and do them all equally well. Now finally, what kind of person was the $2,000 man? He was the type of person most of us can be. He didn't have much, but he was willing to use what he did have. He couldn't do everything, but he refused to do nothing. He wasn't willing to let his small amount keep him from making his contribution. The backbone of the good in the world depends on people like this $2,000 person. You see, he had learned that in life it isn't how much you have that counts, but what you do with what you have. The carpenter once said, "Give, and you shall receive." This man knew that by helping others, he helped himself. Use what you have, and it will increase. Don't use what you have. Hide it and hoard it, and you will lose it. So don't despair if you have only been given $2,000. That's all you are responsible for.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
However, as it is written, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, the things that God has prepared for those who love Him. 1 Corinthians 2:9.
American Family Radio. This is Today's Issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of Today's Issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of Today's Issues.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening. We hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're not, then stay tuned, because we got some clips from the State of the Union speech last night that President Trump gave, which I think is going to cheer you up. He was what Fred says. Fred saw he's seen 29 State of the Union speeches over the decades, and he says that was the best one last night.
Certainly was.
For content.
For content.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so whoever came up with the items that they would cover at the White House did a excellent job, especially focusing on American heroism, exceptionalism, and some of the. Anytime you can tell somebody's personal story, as he did, that was unifying.
That's right. Yep.
So, all right. So where were we? We were talking about Iran. Okay. What you got a clip on that?
Well, we played him saying, much like other presidents have said, no nukes for Iran.
Anything more to say to this, Fred? We have the build-up going on, and
as you wrapped up the last portion of the program, we need to be praying for these negotiations tomorrow. This could be the last chance for the Iranians to say, okay, we'll agree with you. I'm not optimistic they will say that, but if they do not give the United States a commitment to stop developing their nuclear capabilities and to stop developing their ballistic missiles, then I think we need to prepare for battle.
Mm-hmm. How many warships we got over there now?
We have, I'll put it this way, dozens. We have a great many in the Indian Ocean, just south of where Iran is. And now the carrier Ford, the USS Ford, Gerald Ford, has docked in a port in Crete. If you read your Bible, you know Paul visited the island of Crete, not too far off the coast of Israel. So it is there right now, but that is within literally shooting distance to Iran.
So the United States military is ready to go against Iran full force, except for boots on the ground invasion, as soon as President Trump gives the word, right?
Easy. We've put squadrons of fighter jets in Jordan and other strategic locations. So, yes, we're ready to go.
The thing is, well, we don't know what this is going to look like until it happens.
That's right.
Okay. So we'll that's why we need to be praying for peace first and foremost, right? Hopefully they can reach some kind of agreement that doesn't require us to go to war with Iran. All right, so the next topic was what were we?
Border security.
Border security. Okay.
We got a clip too there for this one.
So you want to say anything about this before we hear it, Wesley, or you want to comment afterwards? Or both?
With the portion that I mentioned in the first segment, I saw about 30 to 40 minutes of it, and in that portion that I saw, there was only one time where he said, I'm paraphrasing, but we're going to take a vote here. We're going to take a standing vote. And then he played, and then it's this clip. I don't want to give it away from his word, but he basically said, I want to get a standing vote from both parties on this issue. Clip 2?
Yes.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up.
Because our listeners can't see here, but the Democrats did not stand in support of American citizens being prioritized over illegal immigrants.
Why wouldn't you stand for that?
Good question. At least fake it. That's a good question.
Fred, why didn't the Democrats stand on that one?
Because sadly, it is the politics of the Democratic
and their platform
of the Democratic Party. They do not recognize these people as being bad people because they entered the country illegally. They regard these people as legal immigrants, that they have a right to be here. And Tim, as you have pointed out so many times, that when Joe Biden was president of these United States, he allowed at least 15 million of these people in here with the hopes of giving them legal status so they can vote for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, it's a strategy. It's a strategy on the part of the Democrats.
To destroy the country.
Well, yeah, if you destroy the country because they want to destroy the legitimacy of the American people to vote, because they want to make all these people that they're letting into the country, they want to allow them to vote. That's why they're against the Democrats I'm talking about. Now, this is broadly and generally, not every particular Democrat falls into this category. John Fetterman, the Democrat senator from Pennsylvania, is an exception.
There's some outliers.
Yeah, he's an exception, but they're few. There are only a few exceptions. Most of the Democrats won't people to be able to come in here from around the world and pour into our country as Biden let them in, and then he wants to. Then the next step would be, okay, let's make these people eligible to vote. Let's give them a pathway to citizenship. That's what they'll call it.
But the visual, along with the audio, was worth playing for everyone because it was that obvious.
He wanted to put them on the record for everybody to see.
Yeah. Yes.
And it was a.
That's a clear question.
I would say even probably for some Democrats, they were probably looking around. Okay, I don't want to. Should I stand for this or not? Because if I stand for this, I'm agreeing with Trump's ICE policies.
Yes.
That's the way they would.
Pretty much.
Right.
And Trump's ICE policies, I would argue. Okay, yes, we've had a couple of
unfortunate
situations in Minnesota where people died while they were, confronting ICE agents. Those cases are still being adjudicated and investigated,
Right.
So we don't know exactly what led to the shootings against these folks, these two people who died. But they were agitators and they were out looking for trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so but anyway, so President Trump just wanted to go on record as saying, now there's no arguing that he shut down the border.
Oh yeah,
right.
He did that from day one.
Yes.
But that was one of his major campaign promises.
Yes.
That's right.
Right. So, all right. So anyway, he said that the Democrats sat on their hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I saw some of the squad.
That's right.
The infamous squad that is. Fred, do you know this all-star lineup?
Well, what we saw on the camera shots last night was Ilhan Omar.
She's a starter
from Minnesota,
on their
and
team.
Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah.
Okay, she's also
a starter.
She's a starter.
Yes, and they were screaming
AOC.
like they were at a boxing match.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's like their coach.
I don't think she was in the chamber last night.
Yeah, I think she was at the alternate event.
That's right.
With people in costumes and.
But she didn't even go.
Musical
then.
acts.
No.
Okay, well, we could kick her off the team. She didn't,
show up
even show up
practice.
for the ball game.
Yeah.
But
If you're going to run for
were there
president,
any more
you should-
members of the squad there? Was it Tlaib and
I don't know that
they
Ayanna
were the ones
Presley was
shouting
there.
at Trump, right?
Yeah, I don't know that Ayanna Presley was there either. She's another one. She's from Massachusetts. But the
All right.
two that got a lot of camera time were Omar and Tlaib.
All right, and also the gentleman that got kicked out. before it
Oh,
ever
Al
started.
Green. Yeah, for the second year in a row, the congressman from Texas,
He needs
Democrat.
to go back to singing. If you ask me, would you agree, Fred?
Yeah, that's right.
Great soul singer, and then now he went to Congress.
Now, one of the
Politics changes you. Yeah.
Which was the member of the squad that was there that got up in tears over Trump's comment about the Somali?
Oh, that was Omar.
Omar? Okay.
Yeah, she's from that part of the world.
Well, Trump was pointing out the thefts that taken place.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
The fraud that's taking place within the Somali community.
Yes.
Yeah, we have that.
You have
We
that?
do. And also,
All right.
in this spot, you'll hear Trump talk about Minnesota fraud as well as fraud in other states and who he's going to put in charge of policing all this. Clip 10.
When it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
Okay, I did hear who was shouting at him.
That was Omar, and then Tlaib joined her.
And what were they shouting?
They were yelling that it's a lie.
The fraud?
The fraud, the claims from the government, the federal government about the fraud is a lie.
It's just a lie.
That is like saying the sun is not hot.
That's
these people have been busted in Minnesota, and
There's been a lot of convictions.
they've already had like 75 indictments.
Yes, and many of them are Somalis. That's the fact.
And
So-
even Tim Walz said, "I'm not running for office anymore." And his daughter, Tim Walz's daughter, said, "There's a lot here to go." I mean, that's okay. You can shout whatever you want to, but don't shout that this fraud they've uncovered in the billions. I think it's in the billions.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's just the ones we know.
In Minnesota is not true. It is true.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know what she calling him a liar.
Yeah, pretty much. Now,
Okay.
do we have 18? I want to check before we play this. Okay.
The
so-
18.
They
were there?
Clip 18. Yeah.
Clip 18.
I pity the fool. But anyway, clip 18 here is this is Vice President Vance on Fox just before the show started, and Bill Hemmer asks him like, "Hey, like, do we even really know how much money has gone to fraud?" And Vance says, "We don't really know, but we'll get to the bottom of it." And he rattles off this clip 18.
Many Americans over the next 9 months, and we'll follow that very carefully. In the meantime, you've got a new job. Here it is, the announcement last night from the president.
I'm officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
Okay, I messed up. Apparently, that's not all edited down.
That was a fraud you put on us there, Chris.
That's not a lie.
No, that's not a lie.
Yeah, I messed up that one.
Okay, what do you mean to do?
Well, basically, Vance, it was supposed to just be Vance talking about how we are giving billions of dollars to illegals and scammers, and we're going to put a stop to it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, we need to get to the transgendered stuff here.
And this is another...
How did that issue come up?
Yeah, so when he kept recognizing various people in the crowd, at one point last night, the president mentioned a young lady named Sage. And Sage's story is similar to that of Chloe Cole, where a few years ago, Sage decided she wanted to transition and try to become a man, as if you can do that with medications and surgeries. But Sage, much like Chloe Cole, decided to change her mind, and now she's been one of the people speaking out. She's a so-called detransitioner. And Trump used her courage coming forward and speaking out against these things to say that we need to put an end to policies that give medications and do surgeries on minors here. And that's, again, when he chastised Democrats for not standing up. Clip 3.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you. They're crazy.
Okay, he's talking about the Democrats who aren't standing.
Yes.
And on which particular issue, Fred?
To put a stop to these minors.
Okay, gotcha.
Doing these, and I think in particular in Sage's story, the procedures were carried out without her parents' knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And this.
What state did she live in?
Somewhere on the East Coast, because she's going
Virginia?
to Liberty now.
Was that at Virginia?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But that was the issue. And I mean, come on, America. Surely you could support a policy where a kid is messed up in their teen years, and the medical establishment, the school, whatever the case may be, says we're not even going to tell your mom what we're going to do to you.
Okay, so just to be clear, you work, Fred, but I want folks to clearly understand what President, because we didn't play the whole clip. What President Trump is talking about, he's citing a story, is stand up if you're opposed to performing sex changes and giving chemical drugs to hormones, sex hormones to minors.
Yes.
Can you stand with me opposed to that or not? And the Democrats, all of them, sat on their hands because they're in favor.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Of minors, children, being able to have these awful things given to them, these drugs given to them, these sex changes made to them, without even having to have the consent of their parents. That's what it sounds like.
Despite the fact, in recent weeks, the American Medical Association has come out against, has come out in favor of Trump's policy. The American Medical Association.
Why, Wesley? What's going on here? Why wouldn't you stand for that?
Well, let me say, before I answer that, let me say this is it's moments like this where days from now we can still look back and say with great confidence that the Democrat Party is in support of. We can use broad brushes on this issue because the entire Democrat Party had a chance to support
common sense, and parental rights and protecting kids.
That's exactly right.
Because you know what happened the other day? We reported on this, and that a young lady who's in her early 20s, she had her breast removed when she was 16 years old because people weren't encouraging her. She would say, "Hey, I feel like I'm a male." They said, "Well, you need to deal. 16 years old. Well, you need to have your sex change, So she went to this cosmetic surgeon, and he said, "Hey, I'll do it. I'll take your breast off," and he did it. And that's sick, by the way, just sick. And now she's in her early 20s, and she sues them.
Yeah.
She says, they shouldn't have allowed me to do this, and I completely agree. Now, I believe in personal accountability for your actions. When you're a minor and you have somebody, you have adults telling you to do something like this, especially a medical doctor saying, I'll do surgery, like what he did to her, well, she sued him and the hospital, and she won $2 million, right?
Right, that's right.
And this is going to stop this kind of craziness, to borrow from Trump. This is going to stop this kind of craziness, at least at a doctor and hospital level. But what President Trump was saying, do you agree with that minors should not be able to do this? And the Democrats, at least last night, sat on their hands. There are a lot of issues in our country that are 50-50.
Yeah.
But Wesley, as you point out, there are some issues that are 80-20.
This is one of them.
And this is one of them where 80% of Americans or more would agree that minors should not be able to have surgeries to change their bodies.
And we had basically a chart on this where we saw statistics, and even the Democrats were 60 to 70% opposed to minors.
Voters.
But of course, it was up in the 90s for the Republicans.
Right, sure.
But you got the overwhelming majority of people to make the point that are opposed to this, and this is something they can't agree on as a party platform.
But here's the puzzling thing. One of the big issues why Democrats lost in 24 was this issue of males in women's sports, males going into
that was a big issue.
Female bathrooms and changing rooms.
Mm-hmm.
The Democratic Party has not changed its stance on that. This is one of the issues they lost on in 24.
Right.
But apparently, for some strange reason, they're sticking with it.
Okay, I got to hear Trump say crazy one more time. That was just
very satisfying.
Clip
knowing the context.
So this is when Trump described this young lady I just talked about, or one of the stories there, and they didn't stand. Then he looked over to them, President Trump did, and said, with all the love in his heart he could gather. What did he say, Brent?
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
He said it with conviction too. That was not on the teleprompter.
No,
that was not.
I want to put that on my phone and then go somewhere really quiet, like a very quiet room, and then have somebody call me and
go to a coffee shop.
Yeah. These people are crazy.
Go to the library.
And what he said was nobody's standing. These people. Okay. I promise not to do it anymore.
One more.
But I'm getting such a kick out of this. It's making my day. I've got to hear it one more time.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
There's a reason they called them the loony left.
Yeah.
That will be, if that's not on a campaign ad.
Oh, that's a meme
later
forever.
This year.
That's a phone. You ought to put that on your phone. Every time your phone rings, it needs to say, have Trump saying, these people are crazy.
I want to put that on my phone and then go to like MPB or something and have.
You need to do it. I bet
NPR.
How do you get a ringtone?
But if you're going to do that,
can you do that? Can you put that on your phone?
I'm sure you can. There's a way you can make that a ringtone. I've got some creative ringtones.
There's a way. Mm-hmm.
But I would, if you do that, we're going to have a hidden camera somewhere.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Yeah, you need to be able to
get
show the reaction
of the other people listening.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so there you go.
Right on that.
You asked me a question about, and I didn't quite answer it, about why does the left, or in this case the Democrat Party, not stand for these 80-20s? There's a long answer, there's a short answer, and a medium answer. The short answer is it's an evil position. It's demonic. not to stand for something like this. A shorter answer, or kind of a medium answer. We won't get into the long answer, but the medium answer is they've boxed themselves in by allowing the squad type people into their camp. Because to your point, I bet there's probably 50-50 of those Democrats that think that's crazy, but
they're more traditional Democrats, and they're not the far left loonies.
Right.
But they don't want to disagree with the far left loonies because they know the far left loonies will then come after them.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. You'll get AOC and Bernie Sanders campaigning in your backyard for your primary challenger if you go down that road.
I got
you. So they've allowed the wrong people in.
I got you.
That's
all right,
you're
you're listening to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. What's you got another?
I do.
Gem? You got another gem?
Yes.
GEM?
I sure do. This was a mic drop moment if there wasn't already one. But on the subject of voter ID, the president wants people to show ID in order to vote, and he explains why Democrats won't get behind that. Clip 8.
And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat.
By the way,
then.
He also mentioned at one point last night, I don't have the soundbite, but he mentioned at one point last night that he's technically in his third term.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I heard that part too. Yeah.
What now?
Yeah, he says he got robbed in 2020 because they cheated.
No,
right?
he doesn't talk about that anymore, does he?
But yeah, at one point last night he said he is in his third term. Technically,
Okay.
He did. He almost, for me, he crossed the line on that one, but it was funny.
On what did he cross the line on?
Oh, he said it was a third term, and I just it was back.
Do we have that?
No, we don't. I'm sorry.
Because he tapered off, and he was more. It was
a really quick
Then the
soundbite.
squad started booing him,
and then he's like,
got his juices flowing again.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that point that the president didn't mention. And you got this communist mayor up in New York. He's making them show ID to shovel snow.
Yeah. That would have been a great point to make.
Oh, yeah.
He did. I don't have this one. I brought in a lot. I don't have this one.
Well, listen, I don't know.
He did mention Mamdani and called him a communist, and he talked about how Mamdani wants you to show ID to vote, but you can't, to shovel snow, but you can't do it to vote. He did mention that.
Okay, good.
I don't think
Hand on a Bible.
I don't think President Trump listens to our show, but that's exactly what I said, exactly the way I said it. There's no other reason. Play that again right there. If you're opposed to voter ID when you, that is identifying yourself officially when you go vote, so we'll know you are who you say you are, then I agree with President Trump 100% on this. What did he say?
And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat.
All right, what are we having for lunch?
That's right.
Anybody want to go to lunch?
That was, as Chris pointed out, mic drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was.
Don't overthink it.
Listen, I'm all for decorum, but when the people from the audience start shouting you down, then President Trump his New Yorker comes out at him, and he's just gonna go back at you. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
Their investment is only for Donald Trump. It's not for the Republican Party. And I think this is another thing that we as conservatives have failed to do during the entire arc of the Trump era is actually take the Trump voters and convert them into genuine conservatives.
Start your weekdays with insight from Jenna Ellis in the morning, 7 o'clock Central Time on American Family Radio.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Far-left Muslim Democrats causing some drama at last night's State of the Union address. So-called squad members Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib shouting at the president when he called to end sanctuary policies. But the president handled them in typical Donald Trump fashion.
I am also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Vice President J.D. Vance says what happened last night showed the whole nation the difference between Republicans and Democrats.
You had congressional Democrats. They wouldn't stand for the idea that children shouldn't be socially transitioned without their parents' wishes. They wouldn't stand for the idea that American citizens should come first. They wouldn't stand for that innocent little girl who was assaulted by an illegal alien but managed to survive. Whatever your politics, whatever your views on immigration policy, can't we all stand and clap for an innocent young girl? I think every American, Democrat or Republican, thought that was a great moment for our country. The only people who didn't believe that, apparently, were the congressional Democrats in that chamber. I think it shows again how broken their party is.
Fox News contributor Mary Catherine Ham says these America-hating Dems gave Republicans a lot to run on.
Yeah, look, I think it in general looks bad if you're yelling at the president at the State of the Union, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. So I think she took the bait a little bit in that situation, and she becomes the face of the Democrats, and she's certainly farther to the left than normal voters, which might not be a great look. I do think that that moment where he asked people to stand and say, I prioritize American citizens, they are my duty, and many refuse to stand, I think is illustrative of this worry that people have that Democrats, particularly the activist class, over and over again looks like it is prioritizing and actively working to make sure that there is no distinction between illegal immigrant and American citizen.
Former CNN host Don Lemon is now facing a lawsuit on top of criminal charges in connection with an anti-ICE demonstration that stormed and shut down a church service last month.
Don Lemon is being sued for severe emotional distress by a churchgoer in St. Paul, Minnesota, who claims the anti-ICE protest that shuttered her church service unlawfully interfered with her ability to freely exercise her religion, resulting in fear, anxiety, and trauma. Lemon accompanied protesters into the church in January, disrupting the service, saying he was documenting the unrest as a journalist. He and several others also facing federal charges of conspiracy to deprive rights and interfering with religious freedoms. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Scientists are changing how El Niños and La Niñas are labeled.
NOAA says El Niño and La Niña are climate patterns in the Pacific Ocean that can affect weather worldwide. For example, El Niño conditions cause wetter than normal conditions in the south and warmer and drier conditions in the north during winter. David Legates is a climatologist with the Cornwall Alliance and says a recent news article titled "Scientists Change How El Niño is Labeled to Keep Up with Spike in Temperature" was a bit confusing.
You read the title and maybe the first paragraph or two. You get the impression, okay, so the water is warming and El Niños are going through the roof in terms of temperature, so now we have to change how that's happening. But then if you start reading it, the reason they're changing it is they're saying, well, it's not absolute temperature, it's relative temperature.
The Climate Prediction Center says it will use the Relative Oceanic Niño Index to better designate past events and predict future El Niño and La Niña events. The traditional index relies on a departure from a 30-year average that struggles to keep pace with changes in tropical sea surface temperatures. Legates said the change in labeling will be helpful.
With a warmer world and temperatures getting warmer, that we can't just base it on absolute values. We need to really base it on local values because, in particular, that's what the atmosphere is going to respond to anyway. If there's a warm body of water there that's warmer than the surrounding area, that's going to have an effect.
I'm Robert Thornton.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
As we watch world events unfold and fulfill Scripture, it's hard to believe anyone could doubt God and His Word are real. And yet there are so many who either question or completely refuse to believe it. The God Who Speaks is a 90-minute documentary that hits the doubt head-on with evidence that proves God is real and His Word is the ultimate authority. Watch it anytime and invite others to watch with you. Just visit stream.afa.net. That's stream.afa.net.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR. I'm Tim with Wesley and Fred and Chris, and we thank you again for listening to American Family Radio. We're here for 24 and a half more minutes. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? So tomorrow, who's on the show? Is it Ray on the show tomorrow? Ray Pritchard, Brother Ray?
You, Ray, and Wesley will be hosting tomorrow.
Okay, Wesley's going to be here?
Yes, sir.
You going to be here, Wesley?
Yeah, Ed's watching hockey. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
just kidding.
Yeah, well, are you judging him?
No, because if it was...
That's what he likes. He likes
right.
watching hockey.
No,
No, he's not going to be watching hockey because
No.
the Bruins don't play till nighttime.
That's right.
I have a question about the hockey.
Otherwise, he's going to watch it on here at the office.
Yes.
On company time.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry,
What did
Chris.
the NHL teams do while players were in Italy?
Those that don't get selected for the teams have a rest.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of them don't care if they get
Yeah, yeah,
if they
yeah,
get
yeah,
selected
yeah.
to the Olympic team because they get to rest for 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
anyway,
It's back to action tonight.
Okay.
all right. So we've been talking about President Trump's State of the Union address last night, which went on for an hour and how long?
About 50 minutes, hour and 50.
Yeah.
Hour and 50 minutes, which broke the record.
It sure did.
The previous record was held by who, Chris?
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton. How long did he go?
About an hour and a half.
What a weenie.
Yeah, I know. And the
What a weenie.
I've actually got the stats here. All right, so going into last night's address, the longest address at that time was Bill Clinton's 2000 speech, which was 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 49 seconds. Trump's 2019 speech was in second place going into last night.
Okay.
That was 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 25 seconds. So Trump is on record for having two of the longest State of the Union addresses.
Well, he knew last night what he had to do to beat Clinton's record.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And so he was not going to be denied. So he went 1 hour and how long?
He went like 1 hour and 50 minutes last
Did
night.
you watch all of it consecutively? Or did you have to take a break?
No, I did. I was.
Thank you, Chris, for doing that for us.
That's what one year I'm going to get with like Coker and Brent, and we're going to have a AFN. We watch, so you don't have to. And then you'll hear him go, "These people are crazy." And
all right, I've said this before, and I mean this in a complimentary way. But President Trump is a physical freak of nature.
Yes, exceptional.
Okay, the guy evidently doesn't sleep.
No.
He lives on Big Macs and
Fries
whatever.
and Coke.
Yeah, and he if he does sleep, he sleeps in his suit and tie. Because the red tie rarely changes. He'll put out a blue one every once in a while. But what I'm talking about, freak of nature, is the fact that what 79-year-old man can sit up and for 2 hours and not have to take a restroom break. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And for 2 hours and talk consecutively without just having to be carried out on a stretcher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But this guy just is like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps
sure
going
is.
and going
keeps
and
your
going.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've just never seen anything.
Can you
like
imagine
it.
working for him?
No, and Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State,
Great story.
who's probably in his 50s, maybe.
he is. Yeah.
And he says when he's on Air Force One with President Trump, he tries to hide under a blanket so that he can sleep because he doesn't want President Trump to see him sleeping because President Trump doesn't believe in sleep. Am I right? Is that what he said?
That's the story Marco Rubio says. Yeah.
So there you go. So I don't know how I really sincerely don't know how he keeps up the pace that he does. He doesn't drink.
Nope.
He doesn't smoke. He never has taken. So those two are off the table for him in terms of his health. He does get outside. He likes to golf and get out in the outdoors and
So Red Bull by IV.
Does Red Bull? Does that help? That
Red
would
Bull's
help.
not
There's
great
also
for
a
you,
downside
but
to that, though,
that's
too, right? It's called crashing.
That's right.
And I don't think he does. President Trump crashed.
No, I think he's just unusual.
He just built that way.
Yep, very unusual.
Hey, speaking of him speaking for long periods of time, this morning the Babylon Bee posted this: Trump reveals plan to secure third term by speaking for 7 straight years.
Babylon Bee.
So, all right, what's the next topic we need to discuss here, Chris?
Oh man,
what do you got?
Well,
the tariff.
Tell me what you got there on your clip list.
Yes. So we played a minute ago, a couple of 3 times, Trump saying Democrats don't want voter ID because they cheat. That's all they do. They cheat.
Yeah.
He continued on with that and said he wants an end to mail-in ballots with a few exceptions, and he rattled off those examples.
Yeah, I don't
or
care
we could
about
do
that.
economy and inflation.
Okay.
You want to do tariff talk? Remember?
I
That's your
actually
favorite?
don't have the tariff
Listen,
soundbite.
Okay, never mind.
What?
What?
That's disappointing, Chris. You don't have
Chris
any.
is crazy.
You don't have any tariff talk.
I isolated it and I didn't file it. I can tell you what he said.
What
And
did
it
he
was
say?
it was a reserved Trump moment. Okay?
What did he say about tariffs, Chris?
Okay. First of all, he talked about how the tariffs were going
Were the
great.
Supreme Court justices there, though, who struck
At least
him down?
4 of them. At least 4 of the Supreme Court justices were there, including Roberts, who sided against the tariffs and wrote the majority opinion.
Amy Coney Barrett.
I think she was gone.
She was there.
She was there.
She showed up. To her credit.
Yep.
So she had 4 of the 9.
Right.
But now, I think Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito go to bed at 7:30.
Somebody's got to sleep.
They couldn't make it
in this government.
because it started at 9 o'clock Eastern time.
It sure did. Well, a few minutes after, actually.
But you had 4. You had Roberts, Kavanaugh, Barrett, and what's the Sotomayor. You had those 4 there. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so he mentions the tariffs. They were doing great. We were making a lot of money. We were making countries that had been ripping us off. We were making them pay. And he went on to say, unfortunately, the Supreme Court ruled against it. He talked about how it was a disappointing ruling. He did not
call him out?
Yeah, he didn't say anything ugly. And quite honestly, I was surprised because
You didn't say, I'm looking at you, John Roberts?
I was at half. I mean,
He did
after
really
some of
good.
the other sound bites that we've played, I
Okay,
half
that's
expected
good
him to
good
say
for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I will say too, we're still going to. He claimed that the countries we were tariffing are going to stick with the trade deals that we've negotiated.
Yep.
There were just very briefly a couple of other moments. There was a young lady in the audience in the balcony last night, and her name was Alejandra Gonzalez, young lady from Venezuela.
Okay.
And Trump started by saying she had a very close relationship with her uncle, who has been serving time in a Caracas prison because he's politically against Maduro, okay? And Trump says, Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. And the camera switches to this young lady, and her uncle, who has been in prison in Venezuela, walks through the door, and they embrace. I mean, there were so many movie moments last night. It was absolutely incredible.
Wow.
Yes.
That's wow.
And he stops talking, Trump, and it just shows those two embracing because her uncle has been in prison and she hasn't seen him in years.
Okay, that's the part where the Democrats stood up and clapped, right?
Yeah.
Who's against that, what you just said?
That's a 90-10.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I could read lips because I do believe there were points when a Democrat would turn to a fellow Democrat and say, gee.
Do we stand here?
This is really good.
Right, we need to stand here.
Why don't we think of these things?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
There was a moment, too, even if I had this soundbite, it wouldn't do it justice because it was more visible than it was audible. But there was a moment where Elizabeth Warren stood and applauded the president, and that's when he said, we need to make sure that members of Congress can't profit off insider
Was she drug
trading.
tested?
Even if she told me the results, I may not believe it, given what she's claimed about other things in her life.
Okay.
But
she agreed with. You're saying, in all seriousness, you're saying she agreed. She stood up to applaud because she agreed with President Trump on what issue?
On we need to prevent members of Congress from insider trading, which is something that's been a big concern. Where
and
people,
then he asked Nancy Pelosi to stand, didn't he?
He did ask, "Where's Nancy? Was she standing?" And
He didn't actually say accuse her, but
right.
Where's Nancy?
But okay. What the reason if people don't know why that's funny is the Pelosi's Mr. and Miss Pelosi, Nancy being the wife and the his former Speaker of the House. It's well documented that she and her husband made a killing.
Yes.
Off the stock market.
Yes.
While she was in office.
Yes.
And a lot of people say, okay, I'm saying the accusation against her is she had inside information on, or at least her husband did, on stocks.
Yeah.
Because of the position she held. That's what the
As House
accusation.
Speaker. She was House Speaker.
She was House Speaker. And so there's been a law, well, it's not a law yet. It's been legislation introduced in the Congress, I don't know if it's House or Senate or both, that would forbid, would it forbid congressmen from trading stock at all?
It would basically, I think, prevent them from trading certain stocks, things that they have some sort of say over based on political committees and policies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Elizabeth Warren stood on that one.
Yeah, I mean, the end is near.
Okay,
Elizabeth Warren
I would say
cheered on
if
Trump.
you didn't stand on that one, you're knocking it out of the park on your stocks right now.
That's exactly right.
So you're not really going to go with that one. I don't know how I feel about that. These are American. Just because you go to Congress doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to invest for your future.
Sure.
So
now there are people.
I would say here's what I would say to that. I would say to me, as long as you disclose, maybe once a year at the end of the year, the stocks you invested in and that kind of thing, I would be okay with that myself.
Yeah.
As long as they disclosed and it wasn't behind, wasn't so people would know, hey, were they privy to information that the other investors weren't? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but anyway. All right, what you're listening to right now is Today's Issues on American Family Radio, and we have no recommendations on stocks.
No.
Zero. If you had the United States hockey team as an investment, I would invest in them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they are knocking it out of the ballpark.
That Rosalind Capital guy would be gold. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next story. Either Fred, you got a story, or
you go ahead.
Well, let's return to New York in the snowstorm. Okay. We know that Mamdani was hiring people to shovel snow.
The mayor of New York City.
And required an ID in order to pick up a shovel.
Very racist, man.
But there's kind of a serious story that is developing out of this. Because there's been video that's been put out there publicly. There were police officers out there. They're trying to help people, get out of their homes, just be on the streets in the middle of the snowstorm. But the videos show people throwing snowballs at these police officers. All right. In fact, we found out this morning that a couple of these police officers who were being pummeled with snowballs from this group of people had to go to the hospital because a snowball... and
they're not always little soft, puffy things.
No. You can't make a snowball with soft, fluffy snow. There has to be hard. And a few of these police officers were hit hard with these snowballs.
Fred, if I can interrupt you just for a minute, because I read about this story. What just to set it up, I think this is in Manhattan, but so a bunch of, it sounded like to me like a bunch of teenagers or whatever were causing a big ruckus in the neighborhood. Some people called the cops. The police officers showed up, many of them, 20, to sort of break it up, okay, because this is the middle of a blizzard. That's when they begin to get pummeled by these, whoever was out there, I don't know, I'm guessing teenagers or young people. And it got dangerous for the police because, like you said, it was just, these weren't little, they were getting, hit hard in the face and the head. They didn't have protection from each side. And so, in so much as former Mayor Eric Adams and Cuomo and the governor,
the police commissioner,
they all issued statements saying this is unacceptable behavior toward our toward our police, right?
And they should be charged, these people.
Because it was assault.
Yes. So Mayor Mamdani is asked about this.
Okay.
We have the audio in his response, I believe, Chris.
Clip 14.
And first, I want to say that officers have been on the front line of helping our city respond to this blizzard. They have been keeping New Yorkers safe. They and our entire city workforce deserve to be treated with respect. I think that there were 2 officers who were facing lacerations on their face. Look, I've seen the videos of this snowball fight. I think that it was a snowball fight.
No, a snowball fight is when you have 2 parties throwing snowballs at each other. There is not one video that shows the police officers throwing snowballs back.
So he's saying they were caught in the crossfire, so to speak. I mean, that's what it sounds like. But he said 2 officers got lacerations to their face.
Yes.
And then he says it's just a snowball fight.
Yeah. He just kind of laughed it off.
No, I saw it. Those people, whoever they were intentionally trying to hit the police in the head with snowballs, and they did.
And hurt them.
And so that's not something to call, quote, just a snowball fight.
But that just shows you how far New York has gone, or even people like Mamdani has gone as it relates to law and order and authority. Because even if it was what he described, which it wasn't, he downplayed it. But even if it wasn't, there's a reason. They're an authority. They're officers.
This guy was a defund the police guy.
That's right.
That he moderated that to run for office, even though he still has he's a far lefty.
Mm-hmm.
If it were up to him, we wouldn't even have police. We'd have social workers. And I guess in this case, the social workers would have been pummeled in the face with the snowballs. All right, next story.
Oh, all right.
You got any stories left, Chris?
I do.
We can play Perry Como.
No. I have this one because we need time to play it and to get your thoughts on it.
Oh, I'll give them.
You got thoughts?
California Governor Gavin Newsom, a man who I think clearly has his eyes set on higher office.
And his hair.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got his hair set on higher office.
So he's traveling around speaking to potential voters, okay? And in this particular event, Governor Gavin Newsom was speaking to a room full of African Americans, black people. And there was somebody, like a panelist there next
Where was this?
It was in Georgia, wasn't
Atlanta,
it? Yeah.
I believe.
He was in Atlanta, so he's sort of making his way around the country.
He's selling a book.
Yes.
He's selling a book, and he's also prepping to run for president.
Yeah. Yes.
I got you.
And speaking to a room full of minorities, Newsom, a white man, says, "I'm just like you, and I'm not making this up."
Now, do you need to give this away, or we need to hear the punchline? You have it?
Well, let's hear it from Gavin himself, because I don't even want to say this on the air.
Okay, go ahead.
16.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
So Gavin Newsom told a room full of minorities, "I'm just like you. I got a low test score and I can't read."
I don't know what's offensive about that.
Well, it makes it appear like he's assuming everybody in the room can't test well and they can't read. That's the way it's being understood.
I'm not here to argue with you, Chris. Okay. I'm just saying, to me, from what I heard right there, this is my reaction. He was just saying, "Hey, I'm an average student who overcame." Did he have dyslexia?
Yes. I'm not sure.
He says
he's saying,
I don't believe anything he says.
He's saying, "I'm an average student. I was an average student who went on to become governor, and so I'm just like a lot of you in this room. I'm not extraordinarily."
You got such a good heart, Dad.
I'm not extraordinarily smart like some people. That's what I got out of what you just played
here, and that's a good. I understand how
I'm a good-hearted person. I think the best.
But we
people.
have to remember though the Democrat Party and their punchlines to get voters here. Okay,
and what did you do wrong? Right there.
What you can go either way.
Yeah, you comment and then Fred comment.
Okay. You can go either way, or you could also have flashes where Joe Biden says, if you do not vote for me, you ain't black. You have moments of that.
That was dumb.
But you have instances like that from the Democrat Party as they pander to the African American vote, and that's I can see how someone would draw that from this, but I also can see how you play the benefit of the doubt and you get it.
All right, Fred, what do you think about this?
We have a story on this Gavin Newsom story on our site, afn.net. Go to that. The headline is California's Democrat governor accused of making racist remark. But in that story, it quotes South Carolina Republican Senator Tim Scott. Tim Scott says, Black Americans aren't your low bar. He wrote, and so we've built empires, created movements, outworked, outthrusted, and outsmarted people like you. Stop using your mediocre academics as a way to patronize communities. It's ridiculous, end quote. So that's the point he's making.
Yeah.
But also during this book tour, and this is an AP story, an Associated Press story, that Newsom has upset the LGBTQ community as well.
All those letters?
Yeah.
Every one of them.
That's spending a lot of letters right there.
Yes. He told CNN in an interview that aired on Monday this week that the Democratic Party needs to be, quote, more culturally normal and less prone to spending a disproportionate amount of time on pronouns, identity, while emphasizing energy costs, child care, and other kitchen table issues.
I'm going to give Gavin Newsom a high five right there.
The only reason he's saying that,
pulling that back in quickly.
The only reason he's saying that is because he's going to run for president. It's
Of
the same
course.
thing with Rahm Emanuel saying Democrats need to come around on school choice.
I'm disappointed in the way you guys just don't even. I mean, you have
No credit.
Well, you have this very skeptical attitude.
25 years or more in news will do that to you.
Toward Democrats, especially toward Democrats.
It's one-sided for us, isn't it?
So well, listen, I think he's right. Now, he's going to get heavy pushback from the squad type folks, as you guys alluded to earlier. They're basically the tail wagging the Democrat dog right now. But I think he's right about that. What did he say exactly?
He told CNN that the Democratic Party needs to be more culturally normal and less prone to spending disproportionate amount of time on pronouns and identity.
That's an 80-20 position.
Yeah,
That's what he's trying
right
to say.
about that. Gavin Newsom, give that guy some more Brill cream.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. When there's an election around the corner, somebody tries to be the moderate, and then when they win the primary and get into office, they're not a moderate. Same thing with Joe Biden.
We can compliment that one statement, but the problem is he's got so many video clips that says either way. It won't work in a. It's not going to work.
Case in point of Democrats changing their tune over time. Chuck Schumer, when he was a member of Congress, a representative, he wrote the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. 30 years later, he's pushing the Equal Rights Act, which would ignore RFRA, which is something Bill Clinton signed into law and said, quote, I'm glad to see I'm not the only Baptist in the room.
Have we sold you yet, Dad?
No, I think we need to have a little powwow session so I can teach you guys to have a little brighter attitude toward things.
These people are crazy.
That's when we needed that button right there.
I just think that if you can't say something nice about somebody, just don't say anything at all. That's my motto.
Listen.
And I abide by that every day right here on this show.
Yes.
By the way, Gavin Newsom said he was a 960 SAT. Is that like middle of the road? I don't know what an SAT. What's a high SAT?
That's a good question.
I didn't make it, Wesley.
We took ACTs.
ACT is what I was.
We had ACT.
We did.
What was your ACT score, Chris?
Not high. But I'm not running for office and trying to get you to vote for me.
That's true, Chris. And I'm sorry. I put you
It
on the
wasn't
spot
low,
there.
but it wasn't as high as it could be.
Okay, that's fine. We'll guess where you were on that.
Did you not think you can say I come from an average place without saying I can't read?
Yeah.
I'm like you. I can't read.
Yeah.
Come on, Dad.
Well, we'll talk about it more tomorrow.
Okay.
Have a great day, everybody.